Hey friends, welcome back. It is exciting to be with you. I'm going to be hitting podcast 19 and podcast 20, blog 19 and 20 this week. And I'm going to be celebrating that by getting back to the subject of aromatherapy with a couple of really quick, easy podcasts that are very simple and straightforward. And today's is all about aromatherapy inhalers, but make sure you also look for episode 20 coming out in a few days because there's going to be some extra rewards for people in that podcast for the month of November that I'll be talking about for aromatherapy consultations. So, what are aromatherapy inhalers and why would you want to use one and how would you use one? Well, I've really become a fan of aromatherapy inhalers in recent years. It used to be back years ago that I just used my diffuser for everything, and I even diffused at work and when I was teaching in lots of different public places. But as I've come to study and practice aromatherapy, I've also come to realize that it's not always the best idea to be exposing every single person within your space to essential oils. There are some people that have compromised immunity that their bodies just aren't prepared to process essential oils. There are some people that truly have allergies to essential oils. Now, that's very rare. The reason being that essential oils don't contain pollen, and pollen generally is the reason why someone would have an allergic reaction to an essential oil. However, having said that, there are very, very small percentage of people that do have negative reactions to essential oils. And the third reason why you might want to not just diffuse in your space all the time for yourself and for other people is that essential oils will build up in your body. Even though they're natural materials, they do need to be processed and then gotten rid of by your body. And if you use them every single day for years on end, you can actually end up becoming reactive to them, just like anything else that you would overdo. So I have started to do a lot less just constant diffusion, and instead I'm opting a lot more for aromatherapy inhalers. I love aromatherapy inhalers, and here I'm showing one right now so you can kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. I love aromatherapy inhalers because they're very personal, they're very personalized. You can put whatever you want in them for whatever your specific areas that you're needing support in are at this time. Something that you can use pretty much anywhere you are that only you will be able to smell. So it's a way for you to be using aromatherapy while you're out and about, while you're at work, while you're different places where other people are, where you're not exposing everybody to the aromatherapy, but you are still going to be able to get the benefits of the aromatherapy that you specifically need. So those would be some reasons to use aromatherapy inhalers. It's so easy to just carry one of these in your bag or in your pocket. And it's one of those things where you can use it over and over and over. And it really takes very little essential oil to put into an aromatherapy inhaler, but it will last a really, really long time. So it's also a way to bring sustainability into the subject of aromatherapy because we are not, just using massive amounts of essential oil all the time, which is a lot of plant material, a lot of resources go into creating essential oils. But instead we're using a small amount and getting to reuse it over and over and over. So it's kind of like recycling. I love also that it's so easy to make it how you want it. So sometimes when you purchase other people's blends that are out there, whether it's from a company or somebody that made one for you, you don't always get everything that you want in that. Sometimes there are smells in there that you don't necessarily prefer. So when you learn how to make your own aromatherapy inhaler and you learn what you want to put in it and what those essential oils might be able to do to help support you in your wellness, in your moods, in your immunity, then you can completely customize it to yourself. Super fun. Pretty much anybody will be able to use this. And then again, you're keeping safety in mind by not exposing people that might not be able to handle aromatherapy at this time for whatever reason. So this is an example of an aromatherapy inhaler. If you're listening on the podcast, it's simply a plastic applicator. Honestly, it looks kind of like a tampon applicator. Just going to be straightforward about that. What I like about it though is that they come in a lot of different colors. So you can get a lot of different fun colors. I've got green, red, yellow, black, purple, orange, everything out there. And It's basically a little applicator into which you put a small piece of cotton, and that piece of cotton you would have soaked in your essential oils or your essential oil blend of choice, and then put it in here. You put a little cap on, and then whenever you need to use your aromatherapy, maybe you're using it so that you can help to focus your mind while you're working, and maybe your mind is starting to wander, you just grab your aromatherapy inhaler, you take the outer covering off of it, and then it has some little holes that allow you to just inhale the scent out of the inhaler. I mean, how easy is that? It's very small, it's very compact, fits in your palm, in your pocket. I have to say that I use the plastic aromatherapy inhalers when I'm making a whole bunch of aromatherapy inhalers for a specific reason. So for example, I've been making a lot of aromatherapy inhalers for COVID support for some folks that are in a compromised population that is near me. So in that case, I've been making up, 20 to 50 at a time. And in which case I will use the plastic ones, but I don't prefer them just simply because I don't like plastic, and I'm trying to reduce any plastic that I have going on in my life. So when I'm making an aromatherapy inhaler for a client that I know is going to use them consistently, and we have dialed in on something that we know that we want for a blend, I will then get a beautiful metal aromatherapy inhaler. You can get both the plastic and the metal ones a lot of different places online. I get mine on Amazon because I live in the middle of nowhere and I don't have the option to just go out somewhere and try to purchase one of these at like a craft store or from a health food store. That just doesn't exist where I live. The metal ones are beautiful. They also come in a lot of different colors, and there's an outer metal shell and then an interior portion that is a metal sort of mesh that is on top of a glass container. And it's exactly the same thing with these. You're going to take that interior cotton piece and you're going to soak that in your essential oils of choice. And then you just pop it in there and you put this cap back on and you put the outer covering back on. And then you have something that is beautiful that you'll want to use more often, that you can just have in your bag or around your home or wherever you know that you're going to be reminded to use this whenever you need it. I love these. They're not super expensive. And again, you're using so little essential oil in an aromatherapy inhaler that you actually make up for the cost on the back end with that stuff. So how would you make an aromatherapy inhaler? Well, I actually just did a blog about a month ago about how to make an aromatherapy inhaler step by step. So if you go to prairiearomatherapy.com and go over to my blog and scroll down, you'll be able to find it there. I'll also put a link for it into the show notes today. And with that, it's going to tell you exactly everything to do to make the aromatherapy inhaler. But I'll just break it down in some general terminology for you. First of all, you're going to decide what essential oils you want. And this is going to depend on what is your mood, what do you like, what's your personal preference, or is there something specific that you're working on wellness-wise, mental health-wise, or whatever the case may be. In the case of the COVID inhaler, I included 2 essential oils that have been studied as preventative for COVID, and that is lemon and geranium. And then I also included several essential oils for lung health, things like eucalyptus. So I put all of those together in an aromatherapy blend. How do you do that? Does that intimidate you? Well, luckily for you, I now have an online mini class. It's just 40 minutes. Really easy, straightforward, simple method that I use to blend essential oils that I've been using for the last 20 years. Takes about 5 minutes to learn it and to do it at any time that you want to create a blend. And it's also super fun. In that class, I kind of talk about the different families of essential oils and what they typically tend to do. And once you know what the essential oil families are and what those families each tend to do, what functions each of them tend to have, then it makes it a lot simpler to say, okay, I want to include something in my blend that's calming, or I want to include something in my blend that is going to be uplifting for my mood, or I want to include something in my blend that might help support my immunity. So in the course, we go through all of that. Then I teach the method to blend. So that's just blending. That's not an aromatherapy inhaler, but usually when you make an aromatherapy inhaler, you'll probably put more than just one essential oil in there, just simply because you can always just breathe the essential oil out of the essential oil bottle if you want to do it that way. And that can be a very easy way to administer aromatherapy to yourself. However, dragging a little bottle around with you that could break or get crushed or things like that isn't always the best idea. So having an inhaler can be a much better way to do that. I like to put 3 to 5 different essential oils in my inhaler, but I only do about 10 drops. The reason is that 10 drops goes a long way because you're breathing into this thing at such a close distance that you're going to be getting a lot of molecules from the aromatherapy inhaler at close contact. So it's not necessary to overdo it with the inhaler. So 10 total drops. You're going to break that down between your essential oils however you want to, using that intuitive blending method that I mentioned. So I like to blend my essential oils in a little dish, just a very, very small little bowl that I have, or a very small container. So 10 drops is not going to take up much space, but I also like to use something that this will easily fit into. I also have some really tiny tongs that I use for these to put them into the essential oil and to keep them sanitary as I'm preparing them to go into the inhaler. So I take little tongs, put that into my blend once I've made it, let it soak it up, kind of swipe it around, almost like you're sopping up extra virgin olive oil with some amazing bread, right? Like that's the sort of idea. And then you're just gonna take that little cotton piece and you're gonna pop it right in here and pop the cap on, and you are done. Talk about holistic lifestyle with ease. That is easy. I honestly think it might even take less time than putting the essential oils and water into your diffuser, to be honest with you. So I want to encourage you, if you have essential oils at home, this can be such a great way to bring aromatherapy into your everyday lifestyle. And you get to customize it for whatever you want and what you like, which is super fun. And it does not cost very much. So you can get the inhalers and the little cotton pieces that go in them from a lot of different places online, aromatherapy suppliers and that type of thing, but also on Amazon if you prefer that. And then you're good to go. Of course, again, you can always do the metal if you prefer to have something that you'll have long term, or if you're giving as a gift to someone, that can also be really nice. We have the holiday season approaching here very shortly. So that is the how and the why of why you might want to use an aromatherapy inhaler. It's such an easy tool to help increase your quality of life, to bring some mindfulness into your day, to really create some intentions around what you want to shift and change for yourself, and then have something there that will help to support you with whatever those changes or habits are. So thank you so much for joining me today. I always appreciate those subscribes, likes, comments. Hit that notification button to make sure that you're notified of future vlogs. And if you're listening on the podcast, I always appreciate those 5-star reviews, and I will see you next time.